All right. This is Ryan Rockwell, former CEO of Modern Yoga Teacher with current CEO Amber Hagberg. This is a big week, and we just want to kick things off and kind of answer some questions because obviously, with a program, an incredible program like this, people are going to have questions. They want to know what's it about, what inspired you to do it, what benefits are they going to get out of it. So, first off, Amber, always good to see you. But let's start off. What was your inspiration for creating Amplified Impact, and kind of give us like the 100,000 foot view of what this program is about?
Yeah, well, thank you, Ryan. I'm excited to be here. I feel for me, I've been content creating for since 2012, but I didn't do it in a strategic way. I was just sharing from my heart, my journey, my yoga, my life, and then going through the yoga mastermind, hiring other mentors and coaches, and creating a really successful yoga business. I went from hustling as a yoga teacher to like just wanting to teach, wanting to give, wanting to serve, to seeing the success of having a structure. Something that I've been really talking about is like, I became successful as a yoga business owner when I started to implement how to run a business. Like I learned how to practice yoga. You go to a yoga teacher training and you learn the anatomy, you learn the body, you learn how to use your voice, you learn philosophy. And so once I was able to learn what it meant as anatomy, the modules of a business, I realized like business is boring. Like it's consistent. It's consistency.
Um, yeah, it can be for sure. I hope Modern Yoga Teacher, mine wasn't boring, but yes, I totally get what you're saying. Yes.
Like what I mean is boring is like in business, we think like, what's the thing that's going to get me to where I want to go? How am I going to be successful? And it's like yoga. Like you can't force yourself into a handstand or into a deep hip opener. It's showing up, practicing and refining consistently. And when I realized that, I was like, oh my gosh, I want to help other people create a business. But it wasn't until people started reaching out to me like, hey, Amber, I've been following you for years. I love the way you run your business. Can you teach me? And this is why I really talk about behind the scenes. I was an underground business coach because I didn't have a desire to run a business and be a business coach. I had a desire to help people live a better life through living the yoga practice. And then the way I was showing up online and running my boring business and consistently like just sharing from the heart and what I'm learning and how I'm growing, I was attracting people who wanted to run a business like me. And that's where, business is imposter syndrome. It's scary. It's personal growth. And it's why I love being a business owner and an entrepreneur is because yoga in massive action, you have to get to know yourself and your fears and your doubts. And that's what happened when I was like, oh no, a business coach, like, what are people going to think of me? Like, do I really say that out loud? And it was just like, the natural evolution of me wanting to teach what I've learned. And it was how to go from being a hustling teacher to really serving more people. And that's where Amplified Impact was birthed. And it was like, you don't need more certificates. And I was chasing like 500-hour, more business coaches, more trainings. And I was like, no, you already have enough. You don't need more. And so I put together a program of like, use your life experiences. And I've been binge watching your coach, Alex Hermosi, and he talks about this. And I was like, oh my gosh, I've been doing that all along. It's like, take what you've mastered, take what you know, and teach that to someone. And then as you grow, what you're teaching and what you're sharing changes as well. Like he started out teaching people fitness and how to get a good body. And I started teaching out people how to live a yogic lifestyle and live in alignment with yoga philosophy. And then I was like, wow, I created a successful business. I want to help yoga teachers do the same thing because I didn't know this was possible before. So my natural evolution was like, okay, yoga teachers, come with me. Like we don't have to hustle and you don't have to chase their certificates because your life is enough. And so inside of Amplified Impact, I share how to take your life experiences, your passion for yoga, your passion for personal development and growth, and put that into a program where you can help people get to where you've gotten today, right now.
You know, what I think of this was, it was a really beautiful moment. Probably one of my highlights, because when students would sometimes step up and inside our program, and they would provide support to another student. Because again, that's why I love masterminds. Like I love it when you bring incredible people together. And this is in essence a mastermind. It's bringing yoga teachers together. You know, you're a coach, but also everyone has their own experiences and challenge, like in knowledge and wisdom that they bring to the table. So I remember someone talking in the Facebook group for the program you were in, and someone was saying, you know, I feel like an imposter. I feel like, you know, I'm creating this program and I don't have like, you know, a degree on this. Like a few things come up. Number one was the quote by Pema Chodron that changed my life. I remember spending 6 months creating a law of attraction forum and coaching program in 2012, and I never launched it because I felt like I still have shit that I'm dealing with in my everyday life. I still have massive mistakes that I'm making. And so I never launched it. And then later on, around 2014, 2015, I saw a quote by Pema Chodron said, if you're waiting for the perfect time to teach, it will never come. And that quote changed my life. But this, going back to that story of one of the students saying, like, I feel like an imposter, like, well, I don't have degrees on this. I don't have like specific training on this or that. And one of the other students came on. She goes, if you ever seen the movie Catch Me If You Can, with Leonardo DiCaprio and Tom Hanks and Leonardo DiCaprio, it's a true story, based on a true story, where a guy basically goes out and he fakes being an airline pilot or like co-pilot. He fakes being a professor. He fakes all these different, you know, professions, and including one of them being like a doctor in an ER. Like, it's shocking. And he was the advanced sociology professor, and the FBI or somebody was interrogating him, and they said, you are an advanced sociology professor at a university, a major university. And either he barely graduated high school or even didn't finish high school, I can't remember. But they're like, how are you able to pass yourself off as a professor? And he said, I just had to read one chapter ahead of the students. And that's what I think of when it comes to these things, when we think about creating a program and teaching people what we've learned. As long as you're 1 or 2 chapters ahead of that student, they're trying to get to where you are. And that is a monumental shift for a lot of people, to get 1 or 2 chapters ahead of where they're at in their life. And so, yes, it is God, there's so many challenges that come up, but just even think about being a yoga teacher. Think about somebody coming up to you after a yoga class and asking about working with you one-on-one. How many of you have felt awkward talking about that and saying what your price is? So there's levels that you have to grow through in terms of, you know, in your business. But the reality is that there's a personal growth happening at the same time that's just so beautiful. And when you keep doing these things that make you feel uncomfortable, you get to a new state of life that you've never accomplished. And people start wondering, how are you where you are right now? How do you get to do what you love for a living? No, I'm sorry, Amber. I know I went off on a complete tangent there, but let's bring this back to Amplify Impact, because this is your baby. This is everything that I've just kind of described, what you're putting inside this program. So tell me, who is a perfect fit for Amplified Impact?
Yeah, I really love to work with people. I always say, like, past versions of myself, which, you know, we talked about in the yoga mastermind, is like, you're speaking to past versions of yourself. So what I did last year when I had been attracting clients that took my energy, that weren't soulmate clients, is like, who is my perfect client? And I realized there's this one client that I worked with several years ago, that she is who I continue to attract once I found out who she was. Impact driven, like a deep desire to change people's lives, and someone that is as devoted and dedicated to helping others as they are their own. And it's like, you have skills, you have services, you have students, and you're just ready to literally amplify that. Like, you want more reach so that you can work from anywhere in the world. You want the flexibility to be able to do this. I know that, like, when I created my business, it wasn't because I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. And now I'm like, oh my gosh, now I can be a stay-at-home mom too. So it's like, anyone that wants freedom.
But you don't know, stay at home all the time. You're still traveling. I don't know about that, but yes.
But freedom, for me, it's like freedom. And that's what I talk about a lot, is like freedom. It's like, if you're someone that desires freedom, for me, success is the ability to go where I want, when I want, with who I want. And one
Yeah.
thing that I put inside of Amplified Impact is like, we're designing a business around your life. So how much do you want to work? How much money do you need to just get by? And how much do you need to thrive? Because we don't want to be chasing just any number. It's like really getting clear on what your values are. So this is for you if you want to create a business that's in alignment with your values, your lifestyle, and to be able to serve more people. And you have the ability to consistently show up and do the work no matter what. And it's like, not if I'm successful, it's like, I'm going to do this no matter what. And I know for me, it's like, I've been doing this no matter what. When I was getting paid $5 an hour, and I'm still doing this. And something that I do now is like, I create content like crazy. And I think about a lot of people that tell the stories of like, how much do you create content? And it's just that one video that takes off. It's just that one video. But for me, it's just one person to say, hey, that really landed with me today. Like, I don't even care if we work together. And so for you, it's like, you just want to serve more people and you want to understand how. I don't want to put a label on who I'm attracting, but it's more like, what are your desires? Desire for freedom, desire for flexibility, desire for helping more people with what you already have in a confident and clear way. I tend to attract people that have all these different ideas because I have all these different ideas. And my gift is to take your ideas into a solid foundation where you can start to plant into a fertile soil of like, how do I do this strategically? And then how can I continue to do this even after Amplified Impact?
Yeah, and again, this is everyone. I just want to make clear again that I'm here to support Amber as the CEO as she launches her programs that she has created. You know, I'm still a supportive voice and want to help. And the one thing that I'll say that maybe Amber didn't is that it's all, you know, you have to be willing to put in the work, you know, to see success. And but that's a great, you know, leads a great question because, you know, let's say how much time will people need to complete the program to that?
I like to think about investing at least an hour a day into implementing the trainings. So you want to be able to show up, watch the videos once, and then implement what I teach you in there. Because if you just watch the trainings inside of Amplified Impact and you don't implement, it's like watching Netflix. But if you take what you're learning and then you put it into action, so at least 1 hour a day, and that's something where you can do it in 30-minute segments as well. But to be invested in your business, at least an hour a day into the marketing, into the like posting, into the sharing, into the attraction, and then like how long it takes you to create your program is going to be somewhere outside of that. But to get started, at least 1 hour.
Say, and you know, I'm guilty. This audience for a year, some of you 6 years. I've had an aversion to social media. And again, that's why Amber has literally created more content on social media in the last 2.5, 3 months than I did in 7 years as the leader of this organization. You know, I've had some of, and I know that there's been there as well that have some aversion to social media. And just so you understand, I'm going to Amber, y'all, for advice on social media. Like, and I'm gonna And by the way, there's a delay with Amber's internet, so I don't know. She's in Costa Rica right now, so hopefully she got the question there.
No, I missed your question. It's pouring down rain. I'm like, can they hear it? It's like a total storm outside. So I'm like, it froze there.
I can't. I can't hear a thing. I was just simply asking you that I have had resistance to social media over the last 7, 8 years. And I was sharing with people though that I go to you for advice on social media. And I also said, tomorrow I'm actually going to ask you some advice on social media. But can you talk to people that maybe have had some aversion to social media about sharing their life and how that kind of coincides with Amplified Impact?
Yeah, especially when I'm speaking to yoga teachers, I like to think about showing up online being an extension of your teachings. What's the thing that you said in your yoga class that like just came through when you were connected to the channel? What's the conversations you're having with your friends that just lighting your heart up? Like you're just showing up online like you would in a conversation with your friend or you would in your yoga class in a strategic way that's talking to the people that you serve. And so when you look at social media just as more ability to serve people and just one person to read it and have that touch, you get out of your head and into your heart. We try to create from here. And this isn't what we do as yoga teachers. We're here, right? We love yoga. We love helping people. And so when you look at like, I'm just going to extend my heart into my fingertips, then you can create from a place that's just fluid rather than thinking. And we try to think our way into creating content, but the best thing that you can do is really just show up and be. Mhm.
So what if somebody already has an offer? You know, what if they already created, whether that's still somebody that would be a good fit?
Yeah, so basically inside of Amplified Impact, like I'm teaching different ways in which you can show up and extend your heart out. And when I attract people, sometimes it's like they've been in business for 20, 30 years and they're falling out of love with their business, or they're just getting started in their business and they're hearing from people that are telling them how to do it a certain way. And that's really holding them back from being able to show up and serve from their passions, which is why I like to talk about amplified impact being your passion, showing up and doing what it is that you love full time. And if we've ever been coached or mentored or been told that we need to do it a certain way, we put ourselves inside of a box. So it doesn't matter if you already have an online offer or you're ready to create an online offer. I'm going to help you bring the fun into marketing. I'm going to help you bring back the passion for why you started teaching yoga, why you started helping people, and use that as a way to amplify your impact.
Who in the world who in the world is owns an Airbnb? And then I was just telling them about how you're in a location where the internet's not that great and how you actually paid extra for the Airbnb for them to up the internet speed, yet the guy ended up asking you, trying to borrow money from you. So yeah, Costa Rica problems.
Yeah, it was really like yeah, a shock to get the message from some guy that doesn't even know me asking to borrow money or he can't pay my power bill. And yeah, anyhow, I'm leaving here. I need internet, I need peace. I want to continue. I don't know where I cut off as far as like
Yeah, and Amber, and I like I shared this with Amber earlier. I lived at the Espanola ashram there in Espanola, New Mexico, the Kundalini ashram founded by Yogi Bhajan. And I was there for 1 week. Why? Because the internet was so bad that I was taking meetings out of my car. I bought like one of those Wi-Fi, like 5G devices that you take wherever. It was not working. It was, again, there are some challenges to working online, but you gotta just move along with it and it happens. So Costa Rica, as we know, probably doesn't always have the best internet in some of the locations where you go.
it's so funny, Ryan, because in India, when I was at the ashram for 7 months, the internet worked better there than it did in Costa Rica. And I was like, what is wrong with this situation?
Australia was actually Australia was actually the worst. They have something wrong with their infrastructure. I was in Bali, which is just like a 3 hour flight, and it was amazing. So it was weird to go from a third world country in Bali to Australia, and then the internet was worse. We all have our stories, but please, we were just talking about really if someone has a program, is it 16 program, and if they get better results, is this still a good fit for them? Like amplified impact.
Yeah. So I was saying, and I have no idea where I caught off or what you heard, but it's like oftentimes we can get
Well,
burnt
your video cut off. Your
out.
video cut off, and I don't know if you meant to turn that off, but yeah. So like I think we got you were at least like 3-4 minutes into answering that question before it cut off. So sorry, I didn't mean to-
I know that's okay. What I like to think about is just like amplified impact is for you if you're ready to just revive and reconnect to your vision, your mission, your purpose, ready to start to show up online in a strategic way where you're creating content that is in alignment with your brand and your business. Taking different pillars. I teach you how to create a pillared out business. So different passions, skills, ways in which you're going to help people, and then to create content from there, and then making the online biz tech stuff easy, and different mantras and meditations and Kundalini practices to break through any of the mindset stuff, because, running a business online takes a lot of peace and patience and practice when it comes to the internet. And also what happens when you're launching your program, like something that always happens for me is like the initiation into the program. So it's like you start to have to learn your teachings all over again and step up to the plate all over again before you go to host a program. And that happens to me always when I'm launching, and it never fails that something happens during the launch. So it's like releasing and letting go of perfectionism and having it all right, because there's always going to be something that happens, but a way to make it perfect. So this is just like coming back into the heart of what it means to run a business. And so if that's speaking to you, then I would say amplified impact is for you.
I'll tell you, because obviously I know what Amber is offering with Amplified Impact, but I'm telling you, like, y'all, if this was ever a time that if you're curious or you're on the fence, this is the moment. The reason why I say that is because, like, what she is offering in relation to, like, we'll get to the guarantee in a second, but the bonuses. So for 7 years, we perfected one program. Now that's so difficult for so many entrepreneurs because we have so many different interests. We want to do so many different things. But when you pick one program and truly perfect that, you get to know your audience so well. You become more successful in that program. You understand how to market it better. Your words have deeper. It's almost like if you worked with an addict for 20 or for 10 years, you would know their thoughts, you would know what they're going through, and you would be able to, to put that in your languaging when you would speak to them, or if you did anything on social media. And so when we had the Yoga Mastermind coaching program, it's now actually we renamed it the Modern Healer Mastermind Coaching Program, but she is offering that as a bonus to Amplified Impact. And people, just so y'all know, that the price of that program was $8,800 if you paid in full, or $9,800 if you did the payment plan. She's offering that for free as a bonus to join Amplified Impact. Again, y'all, she talked me into it. She's like, I want to make this an irresistible. People say like, okay, this is the time, this program, this feels right. Do you want to talk about the other bonuses? Because it's not just the Modern Healer Mastermind program that you've included. There's 2 other bonuses as well.
Yeah, so the Video Healer Pro, which is really teaching you how to get your setup, your lighting, the materials, how to do it in an affordable way, and building confidence on camera. And I know that for me, it was something like, it's scary. It's easier when we start to do recording. When we start to teach yoga, that's like a little scary. But then when we put a camera to it, that's even scarier. So we walk you through those steps in the Video Healer Pro. And then also my 3-day masterclass on creating wealth and ease. So as your business starts to make money, what do you do with it so that you can become financially free? How do you reinvest your money? And something I learned yesterday was the S&Me 500 from Alex Hermosi. And that's taking your money and investing into yourself rather than the stock market or real estate, but going through programs and mentorships. And, I spent so much money last year in myself and learning, and how do we invest and where do we invest? And how can we put it into a space where it's like, eventually you have enough money that you don't have to work, but you desire to work. Like, I never want to put money away into an ROI or ROA, I think it's called, the retirement, whatever it's called, because I don't want to retire. But also, like, if my son wants to travel the world for a year or he becomes something and he needs me, like, I want to be able to press play and stop on my business anytime that I can. So that's wealth and ease, how to become financially free. So you're showing up and working because you desire to, not because you have to.
It's literally $11,608 in bonuses that you get. And I cannot tell you, I mean, again, I built a program for 7 years, the Modern Healer Mastermind program. You're getting that for free as a part of Amplified Impact. So, I mean, like, the amount of bonuses is just redunculous. And I don't use that word very frequently. So it's redunculous. And it's all about the guarantee.
Yeah. So for me, Ryan was like, what happens if someone goes through Amplified Impact? And I was like, well, I've never had anyone go through the program with me, completing all of the modules, implementing all of the strategies that I give you, launch your program and not get ROI for your yoga teacher training and this investment. And so my idea for you is that if you walk this program with me, you're going to get your return on investment for Amplified Impact alone. But that's not even including all of the extra bonuses, courses, personal development that you'll get from going through this program. It's not just like the business strategy and impact and income. It's like, who do you become? The impact on your own life, which for me, Amplified Impact is to be the ripple, and just sometimes making this step into going into your business like I'm all in, and the financial investment can always leave us feeling like that much more serious about it. But it's who you become on the other side of that risk. And last time Ryan and I had a little conversation, it was like, wow, you take a lot of risks. And I realized that that's why I'm so successful, is because I'm willing to go and find out what would happen. And for me, I just want to hold space for anyone that has that deep desire to impact more lives, because I know how scary it can be. And so come go through the program with me and just see how successful that you can become, we can become together.
And I'm gonna toot my own horn selfishly, as I see, Liz, I cannot take, you know, a tremendous amount of credit for where Amber is today. Like, I think we built the framework, the foundation to help her get onto the path that she's on. I mean, the passion she has, the fire, the deep yearning to learn more and to share her voice. Like, this is just something that is just innately a part of this woman. But I do want to feel like in some ways that we helped her get clear on that vision inside the mastermind program. And that's what she's teaching in Amplified Impact: to get clear on your vision, to get clear on your mission, your big why. What are you doing? These are things that need to be figured out early on, because we don't want to live life by default. We want to consciously create this life. And I think as yogis, since we have a hard time answering that question, what do I want? Or even the question of what's my heart's deepest desire. But I often look to the ashram. People have, sometimes they have difficulties charging for their services, or for, like, charging money. And it's like, hey, guess what? An ashram does. And then people like think about like their goals and their vision. Well, I want to live in the moment. Like, I want to be here now. Do you not think that guru had a vision for that ashram? Then Amplified Impact is honoring those foundational pieces that need to be put in place for you to then build on top of, and then to figure out who you are. Not only what do you want, but then who are you passionate about serving? And then creating a program around your experience. And I know I'm kind of taking over for her right now, but what she's been able to accomplish, she's put in this program, all the bonuses, all the guarantees. I mean, this is truly something beautiful that you've put together, Amber. And I want to thank you as, again, the owner of this organization. Thank you for putting your heart and soul into a program like this and offering that to our audience. Is there anything that you want to leave, any messaging you want to leave everyone with?
No, I'll just say that, yeah, I often say that I wouldn't be where I am today without Modern Yoga Teacher and taking that really big leap. And it's, consistently showing up again and again for the vision that gets created. If you have any questions and you want to send me a message on Instagram or by email, and if you really feel the pull and you're like, Amber, I just want to have a conversation with you, you can send me a message. We can hop on a call, and I'm here to support you in your decision. If you're like on the fence, you don't know if you want to take the leap, then just reach out to me and I'll answer any questions that you have.
And there's 10 spots because Amber really wanted to be able to give so much individual attention to each person to get the support they need to be successful. So again, there are a limited number of spots. That's not something we're saying just for nonsense. It's really a limited number of spots.